Hello, my dear viewers. Today we are going to look at what are your superpowers. Now, this was a viewer request. So if you head on over to the community page, you can submit a request if you want to see me do a specific kind of a reading. I'm happy to take a look and see. So this one, I love the sound of it. The superpowers. I did one on myself. It's a lot of fun. So let's get into it. We have 3 different groups for you to choose from. For group 1, we have the Fountain Tarot. Group 2, we have the Lightseers Tarot. And group 3, we have the Unveiled Tarot. So take a moment to meditate on the 3 different groups to see which one is calling to you. And when you're ready, head on down into the description where you'll find the timestamps to jump ahead to your reading. All right, I'll see you at your reading. Hello, group 1, and welcome to your reading. So this reading is a viewer request. This was submitted on the community page for a reading to do. This is what is your superpowers. So thank you for this. It's a fun reading. I did one for myself. I really enjoyed it. And today we're going to take a look at what are your superpowers. And it's a bit of a longer reading, so bear with me because I got a few things to go through here. First, we're going to start with the source. Okay, what's your main superpower that you were forged in? Like you came to this world and you were birthed with something. Okay, so group 1, let's see. Death. Ooh. 4 of coins. Okay. Okay, so group 1, what were the superpowers that you were born with? Radical acceptance. Aha, okay. Right off the bat, just looking at death, 4 of coins, and now with Freya, the Freya. Is it Freya? Freya, the radical acceptance. I'm going to put her here. Yeah, I can see that you are really good at dealing with hardships, not in a way that others are. Some people can get taken out by them. Your superpower is that they do not take you down, okay? You're just because, the radical acceptance, you're somebody who just accepts things the way they are and you work with what you have and you move forward. You're one of these people that you cannot be knocked down very easily. It's like, you're like you think of those punching bags and they kind of fall down and they come right back up again. Like you just come right back up again. You're resilient here. And with death as a superpower, you're really good at dealing with death, endings and beginnings. You don't fear them. You look death straight in the eyes. And it's something that you're drawn to, actually. So a lot of you might actually be drawn to anything related to death. Some of you might work in a field that's like dealing or caring for people who are dying or with death in some way, shape, or form. And it's something that fascinates you. It fascinates you because it is your superpower. It's like the concept of death is something that doesn't fear. You're not afraid of it. And that is a superpower, believe me, because a lot of people are. But I also, more than that though, death is about transformation. So it's about being able to reinvent yourself constantly and also dealing with life's, life has dealing with life's endings. We have all different things that end, everything comes to an end. The whole saying that all good things come to an end. It's true. And you're also really good at accepting new beginnings too. And you work with what you have with 4 of coins. Like, you know how to take care of yourself. You're always ready. It's like you're never sideswiped because you're prepared. Stand still. You have the ability to stand still when there's storms, is what I want to say. And if you look at all of these as standing still, it's 4 of coins and it's like a brisk winter day. And then there's death and there's this, it's like a horse or something in the mist and in a black, dark forest. You love death. Its ability for you to be able to stay still Like you're not restless person. I don't get somebody who's restless here. I see somebody who is able to withstand anything, and you're really good at reinvention. I bet you, I have a feeling this came to my mind. Some of you, Harold and Maude, that movie, probably when you were younger, you might have resonated quite well with that movie. I do sense your superpower is really intense. Like, I feel like it's intense. You probably have an intense stare too. You can give people the death stare and scare the wits out of them. I have a feeling like that should resonate with some of you. But it's also this, just you're strong, you're tough, you're resilient. Your superpower is this ability to, to stare death in the face and not be afraid. And your warrior spirit here. You radically, like say with radical acceptance. She just accepts the ways things are and doesn't fight against it. It's like you work with it. And that's one of your superpowers here. That's what you were born with. Okay, so we're looking at what you were forged with, what you were born with. Fish. I'm going to grab the last one and then, okay, so one more wanted to come out here. Dragon. Forged. It was talking about forged. Dragon, like in their lair. You know how dragons, mythology, like fantasy dragons, they always lie on a lair of gold and things that they pillage from other lands. And so you see there, like you're really good at protecting your interests. You can protect your interests quite well. Violet Flame. Okay, so this is the card that is about Dark Nights of the Soul. You have probably been through many of them and you are very good at them. You accept it, you work with it, and because you have this innate born ability. Okay, so there's two cats about to fight in my yard. So sometimes these readings, you know, the cats, the way they act, they really play into it. There are two male cats, and one was coming into it's somebody else's territory, the other cat's territory, and they were fighting. And the other one took off. And I get the sense of you being able to stand still. You can defend, like Dragon here, defend yourself from outside forces that try to bring you down. You're really good. You breathe fire. You're like a phoenix rising over and over and over again. And it's something you're really good at. It's almost like something you enjoy doing in a weird way. And I don't mean that like, nobody enjoys going through a dark night or enjoys that, but it's something that you radically accept it because you know it's going to help you level up. Like you're very, very strong in, you're very strong group here. I'm going to look up fish. This isn't a deck I use too much, so I don't know them very well. Fertility, subconscious health. Okay. You were born with good health. You're probably somebody who's going to live a long time. You have really good health. And it's because you're so steady. You're a very steady person when things are really dark. Because you can walk through the darkness with ease. And because you enjoy it. You might really be into horror. You might really be into the macabre or just really into darker themes. All right, so let's look at your hidden superpower. So this is a superpower that others might see in you, but you don't see in yourself. Three of Cups. The High Priestess. Do you know that you're really psychic? Do you know that you're kind of like the gatekeeper for that kind of psychic power within you? Meaning other people's psychic abilities don't work on you. Like you have the ability to shut other people's down. Like, you know how some people can be really good at reading somebody? Nobody can read you. And that's one of your hidden superpowers. Maybe you've noticed that in your life. You're difficult to read. People might say that to you. You're very difficult to read. That's a hidden superpower that you probably have heard it and you know, but you don't realize like it's something you can actually use to your advantage here. Because we have 3 of cups with that. You like to keep a tight friend group, but I see that you are the one that kind of they center around. You're there's kind of the strength. You're the one they respect and they celebrate you. But I also see too that when it comes to other, friends and loved ones and people in your kind of found family, even small groups, you don't let them in unless you want them to be there. In other words, you don't allow them to see your special, psychic gifts, or they're not allowed to basically use their any kind of, if they do any spell work or anything, Reiki, even if it's good stuff, nothing works on you because you don't allow it, except for the people that are very close to you. So you have the ability to open yourself up to that, to certain people. And this is a hidden talent that you didn't realize that you had. You also might have very intense dreams, and people might actually be able to enter your dreams too. And so it would be something that you could control. You could actually probably have certain people come into your dreams. That's for some of you. You want to, if you're somebody who tends to dream really vividly, or you tend to have dreams where people show up and you're like, what? And it confuses you. So you'd be a lucid dreamer, right? What is your hidden gift? Hidden superpower? But you're somebody people really look up to as a mystery. You're mysterious to others. And that mystery is something they really like about you. It draws people in. So this is Benzai Zen beauty, because you're beautiful. Yeah, so you were blessed with looks, okay? And you might not think, see, it's a hidden gift, right? I have a feeling you don't think you are. You probably, maybe when you see in the mirror, you think you have an idea of what beauty should be, and maybe you don't think you fit that, or maybe you do, like how you look. Not necessarily that you don't like how you look. It's more like maybe you don't consider yourself like conventionally beautiful. But this is saying, yeah, that's with other people, the community at large, they absolutely find you beautiful. And part of that has to do with your mystery. That mysterious side of you makes you really alluring and beautiful. Okay. So you see this high priestess. She's kind of hidden. She's veils. It's like they don't know what you're going to say. They don't know what you're going to do. You're a mystery to people, and you're elegant. There's an elegance to you, a beauty to you, a sereneness, all of those qualities here where you're able to kind of sit in death, or the energy of it rather, and the darkness. Like it doesn't scare you at all. It's actually something you like. There's a mystery there that is really beautiful to people. So if you didn't know that, now you do. See your hidden gift. Yeah, fearless, okay? You're fearless, and that's what they so if you see, look, the shape is the same, fearless. You have you have psychic abilities that maybe you don't think you have, or that you're maybe afraid to use or something, but you should, because this is saying they're your hidden talent that should be expressed. And I also feel like your fearless nature is part of your beauty that you don't see. Because you probably know that you're fearless. You would know that about yourself. But, even if you're somebody who has an anxious, if you feel anxious, you're still fearless. You can have anxiety and still be fearless. I want to say that because I think it's a lot of people confuse anxiety as being somebody who's afraid all the time. But it's different. Anxiety is a different thing, and it often comes from our brain's wiring from childhood, something that happened in childhood. It makes your brain feel like it always has to be on guard. And so that's not your if, that has nothing to do with you being fearless, though. You're still fearless. Okay, is what I want to say. Wolf, seahorse, and snake. So you see the snake, snakes are very seductive in a way. They're seductive. There's something very seductive and alluring about a snake, but they're also poisonous, some of them. So that's what I feel about you have people scare, like they are lured by you. They kind of fear you a little bit too. Fearless might also refer to how other people, I knocked my camera, how other people might see you as sort of like hard to read, but also I think look from afar because they're afraid of you a little bit because you are so mysterious. Oh, that's great, though. I mean, you could totally use that in so many ways. So this is like a hidden power that you have, okay? Wolf and seahorse. So we come back here to Three of Cups, and I feel like a wolves live in packs, right? So I feel like you run well with pack. You have a tight group of people that you're friends with, and your hidden power is that because of all of these other powers that you have, these talents and gifts that you have, people will be very loyal to you. So I see that, when you meet somebody and you connect with them and they really like you, they'll be in your life until you die. Okay, so you're somebody who will have long-lasting relationships, but they will be selective. So you're quite selective with who comes in because, and seahorses too, they're the ones that, it's the males that give birth. You might not want children. So you might be somebody who's more of a found family. And so if you don't want children, you will have a community around you that will support whatever a child might bring to you that you don't, because, not everybody wants to have kids, right? So even if you're not able to have children, or if you don't want to have children, you will have that feeling from the community around you of unconditional love. Okay. So let's move on. So this is how you express how your talent or how your superpowers, how do you use them, okay? And how do other people experience them? This one I'm just going to use the tarot for. The Star. And a Wheel of Fortune. Oh my goodness. Ace of Cups. That one was sticking out, so I'm going to grab that. So I do see, because of your mystique around you, that you could be somebody who is known in some way. I feel almost like a cult following here. So if you go online and if you have any kind of online presence, you likely have a cult following. You likely have like a group of people. So we go back up here with Three of Cups with the High Priestess, right? That as your hidden gift. And maybe you haven't realized this yet, or maybe you're just starting to. So you're somebody who really pours a lot of love into what it is that you express. I see you as being somebody in the spotlight, okay? I see you as being famous in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be like paparazzi kind of famous, but it's definitely, if you have any kind of online account, you'll have a good following and you'll have people who will be like loyal to you. Sorry, I was just interrupted. I feel if it doesn't resonate with you, you're like, maybe you're a recluse and you don't see people very often. You don't know what I'm talking about. You're not online. Trust me, the people around you, they want to know who you are. Like, even if you don't like have a following like online or anything like that, your friends and anyone around you, they have that same kind of vibe of some like you're like a cult leader. That's what I kind of feel like. They adore you, kind of thing, and they'd follow you to the ends of the earth. Like they would go where you go. So if like you pick up and move to a different place, one by one, they're all going to kind of find their ways there to you. That's what I get the sense of here, is that, you know, you're somebody who, you're very fortunate because you are really good at filling your own cup. You're really good at you follow and do with the things that you love to do. And when your superpower here, when it's expressed, is seen as somebody who's regenerating constantly, and who's, you know, just somebody who's really lucky, and somebody who has really good timing, and somebody who, you know, is a star, always a star. You're a shining star. Like I said, even if you're a recluse and you live outside of a town, that town, they talk about you, not in a bad way. They want to know you. They want to know who you are. They're curious. Okay. You have a quality around you. So we're going to look at your kryptonite. Okay. So this is going to be what drains you. I'm also just going to look at the tarot for this one. So this is your kryptonite. If you don't know what kryptonite is, that goes back to Superman. It was an element or something that was, it took his powers away. So basically this is what drains you of your powers, your superpowers. Seven of Cups. Four of Cups. Seven of Wands. Okay, you don't like a lot of things around you. You don't like, you really prefer to be on kind of self-sufficient, and you don't like it when people are coming at you with a lot of stuff. It drains you. You find it draining when people are wanting something from you all the time. Apathy, you know, boredom too is another thing that you have a hard time, that drains your power as well. So, you know, for you, staying in a sense, in a gratitude state and being gracious for your life, but inertia is something that definitely drains you. And Seven of Cups, when you just feel overwhelmed by too many things, like too many options, too many choices. You kind of like to keep things simple and streamlined. I really get this sense of a group here that keeps their lives very simple. You're a minimalist probably. And even if you're not, though, it's that feeling of somebody who kind of has your way of doing things, and you don't like it being disrupted. And if nothing is going on, it's like you do enjoy a good challenge, definitely. And if nothing is going on, you get bored and you slip into kind of like that inertia, apathy feeling where you're just meh, and it drains you of your powers here. It's like you need to be stimulated a lot, or you just sort of need to be engaged, but not in a way that overwhelms you, and not in a way that people are coming at you all the time. Because I see on one hand, some of you, you know, if you do have like a following of some kind online or whatever, you know, it could be a source of fuel for you, but it also could be draining for you too. Because if people are wanting a lot from you, they want to talk to you all the time, and they want to, you know, hang out with you all the time, or they want to pick your brain, you know, and they just want to constantly something from you, and you just want to be kind of left alone. But at the same time, being left alone for too long, you find yourself bored. You know, it's like you need kind of something going on. You're not good at the day-to-day kind of hamster wheel stuff if it's not stimulating enough for you. So yeah, so this is your kind of your kryptonite here. Now we're going to move on to what amplifies it. So we're going to also just do tarot for that. So we're going to look at what amplifies your, this is what amplifies your superpowers. And there's like two birds in a tree. There was a little hummingbird that went around, and a bumblebee. A lot of abundance in your life, okay? You're a very abundant person. I get the sense you find, like I said, I think you always have what you need. Wow, a huge bumblebee. Hello, just came up to the window. I wish I could have shown you. He was gigantic. He came to say hi, okay? So bumblebee is a sign for you, okay? Bumblebees, if you see bumblebees, because it has to do with this reading and the superpower. It might have to do with your gifts or something in here that is to, when you see a bumblebee somehow, will remind you, okay? Or it's just one of the insects in nature that for you to pay attention to. There he's back. He's just trying to beat at the glass door to get in. They want your honey. The bee wants your honey. I have it like you attract. You attract bees kind of thing. You're very attractive. You're very attractive to people, whether you want to be or not. You are. Okay, so this is what amplifies it. Okay, we'll take those. And we have strength. That one flipped out too, I think. So strength is, it's like it goes back up to your violet flame and stuff, where your core ability, what you're born with, is to face the darkness, and it's like it's like your power. Some people that would just do them in, but for you, and I don't know, it's like it gives you strength. Okay. And so what amplifies you is when you have that courage and that strength and grit to overcome things. Overcoming things is your biggest gift, your superpower here. And I think that's what happens when you don't have everything in your life. It's just kind of like you have a lot of options. You're not struggling. A lot of people might want something from you, but you just kind of get bored. It's like that kind of drains you when you don't have it's like you need to fight. You might be activist too, or have a calling for that. Feel like you want to do activism because you'd be really good at it. It's something that being able to use that part of yourself, the will, the drive, the overcoming, that grit that you need, that's something that amplifies you. Queen of Wands, also being the center of attention. So I guess you do like it, actually. So you might be drawn to it. You might fight against it too. Some of you might be like, I don't, but deep down you do. You do enjoy like the attention from others. Queen of Wands is also, you might have a lot of sexual desire around you too, that gets back into death. There's Scorpio energy in here big time. So you might really relate to that. Some of you might have a Scorpio tattoo even. Your Queen of Wands is sexual, beautiful, sensual. She's popular. That's what I sense about this group. Whether you express that or whether that's, because everyone watching is going to be different. Some of you, you're going to be right in there, and others have no interest in that. But at the same time, it is something that you have, however you express it. What amplifies it though is when you get attention. But the right kind of attention, Queen of Wands attention. So that's about you and your glow. It's like when you feel good about yourself too, when you're in your creative flow and you're in your creative juices, and when you feel that fire inside you, that really gets you going. So there's all the fire signs are in here as well. 5 of Coins. That's 5 of Pentacles. You enjoy a good, hardships fuel you. You're the group that you like to overcome. You like to be that story of I overcame this. I did this. You enjoy the challenge of it. 2 of Wands. So 7 of Cups is when we have a lot of options, and 2 of Wands is where we're at kind of a crossroads and we're deciding which direction to take. But you love that. You love starting new and being at the start of a journey and not knowing which direction you're going to go in yet. That's something that fuels you. Travel too. Some of you really enjoy traveling. That helps, like getting into other cultures and seeing different, especially because this looks like chopsticks to me. Asian cultures really draw you in. Okay, finally we have 5 of Cups. That's that overcoming loss. Loss actually, it amplifies your superpower. So if you're somebody who has dealt with a lot of loss in your life, I'm sorry to hear that, but also know that that's part of your superpower, is that overcoming. Some of you might be past life therapists or hypnosis. You might do that or be really drawn to it. So that might actually be something that amplifies your gifts too, is to do past life regression therapy kind of thing. And grief counseling as well. Grief counseling coming in here. So those are the things that help to amplify your superpowers. Okay. So let's look at what's emerging. Like this is a one that it's not a hidden one. It's one that you are actively working with, something that's emerging. So it's not formed yet, but it's forming. Okay. So we will use some oracles for this one. We have Four of Swords, Restoration, the Hierophant, and Ace of Swords. So some of, like, I'm telling you, some of you are really meant to be, so we're going to get to mission in a minute. So that's going to be why you have all these superpowers, like what you're meant to do, how you're meant to serve. Because you have these powers for a reason. We're here to serve, right? And so your ability to go to the deep depths, your ability to face like the darkness and enjoy it. Like you don't fear it, you actually like it. You might be somebody who likes to moonbathe, you know? So I see with Four of Swords, there's a very much a healer vibe in here too. So, and with Hierophant though, Hierophant and the High Priestess have come up for you as a hidden and the emerging. And they're almost the masculine and feminine of one is connection to divine and being able to be psychic and tap into a power, a hidden power, the hidden things in life that require your psychic abilities, things that aren't seen, right? To tap into the unseen. There we go. You have an ability to tap into the unseen. But with Hierophant, this is a way of you expressing that outward. So one is the receiving of it, and then the Hierophant is the grounding it into something that can be then utilized or taught. Okay, so it's like, this is why I feel some of you have a following, is that you're here to teach others. So you might actually be pastors, some of you. Some of you might be practitioners of any kind, but something you're teaching, guiding, mentoring is a very big one here for you. And that's something that you are just now forming. And some of you might be actually just thought about it, like, maybe I should teach how to do this, or maybe I should, write about it or share my wisdom in some way. So that's what I feel like. And there's a new idea forming here with the Ace of Swords. You have a real vision now, an idea of how to do this. Okay. Now, Four of Swords goes back to dream work with me here with your reading. I feel like dream work is a big one for you. And restorative. So I really feel like you might be teach people too how to overcome dark nights of the soul, how to overcome hardships. I think that's part of your mission here. Let's see though. What's forming here? So this Hera Alliance. I'm going to grab the book for that. All right. So with Alliance, this is basically about your ability to you're forming new alliances with people who are going to help you spread the word. So you might also be getting mentored at the moment as well, with both Alliance and Hierophant. So we come up here to Hidden Gift. We have Three of Cups. You're meant to work with others. You're meant to build a community around something. And this is part of your core, which is your ability to overcome hardships and your ability to walk through darkness with ease. And something about that. And I just got a vision of somebody who's really into the macabre or the darkness, and making some kind of a theater production, a movie of some kind, There's the aesthetics around that. So, in pulling together the people that you will need to help you bring that to life. So that's part of the alliance here. And yeah, I feel like you're just kind of meant to guide, I feel here. We haven't gotten to mission yet, but I really strongly sense that. Let's take a look. It's forming. Moth. Moth is very linked to death. Wow. Okay. Very powerful here. This group is very powerful, and you're meant to do very big, important things. Even you don't have to do it in a big way. So, sometimes some of you might hear that and think that's a lot, but it's not meant to be a lot. It's you're meant to do important things, I feel. And it has to do around with your ability to constantly face death and the darkness, essentially. And you just don't have fear around it. Okay. Fulfillment. Yeah, you're meant to so the next two cards, I'm not going to pull them out, but they're success and enlightenment. See, I really get the sense of a cult leader here. I don't mean the negative of that, okay? I think that's the wrong word to use, but when you think of like a cult following, more like that, and I don't mean like a religion that is, separating people from their families and is toxic. What I mean is that you have that enigmatic kind of quality about you that people want to follow you, and they enjoy your work and they enjoy what you do, and they will be very loyal to you in that. That's what I mean. Like some people, really loyal fans who really enjoy what you bring to the table. And so, but I mean my cult too here is like more niche. So it's not necessarily something that's like a big movie star, but it's more like whatever it is that you're choosing to do, that's where you're going to find a lot of success. Like other people will really gravitate towards it. You have that quality. Now we're going to look at the mission, how you're here to serve. Okay. So this will let you know all of this put together, how you're meant to serve. Your mission with all of this. So I'm going to Knight of Wands. The Sun. Ten of Wands. Okay. You're meant to chase your dreams, and you're meant to be in the sun. You're meant to be in the spotlight, okay? That's how you're meant to serve people, is in the spotlight. Like with Ten of Wands here, you can take on more than others can. It's just your superpower. Other people would have fallen down and given up a long time ago, but you have this incredible superpower to be able to carry more than others. But it's Wands energy. So Wands energy is about our passions. You're meant to bring your passions forward, okay? Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is an action card. Bringing your passions and your creative projects into the light. And they're meant to be seen, and you're meant to be seen. Your work is meant to be seen. Okay. Upon wise leadership. I told you. I told you, look, she's like a warrior. Beautiful, too. See how she's like this really gorgeous warrior? That's you, okay? A wise leader. That's a Hierophant. That's that alliance coming in. They're very similar, too, where they have the stripe on their cheeks. You're meant to lead. You're meant to have a following. What can I say? That's what this group is about. And it doesn't, like I said too, it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be worried about it. You don't have to be a superstar or anything, but it's you're meant to, your gifts are meant to be seen. You're meant to be seen. You're meant to lead. And it has to go back to death. Okay. That's your core. Okay. Your ability to weather the hardships of life, your ability to stand still when there's a storm coming around you, your ability to overcome hardship, your ability to stand in the dark and not be afraid at all. You stare death in the face. You have a death stare. You're fearless. Okay. You have so much depth to you that it's meant to be brought to the light. It's meant to be shared. So, okay, let's see. Armadillo. So the armadillo has that armor around them. See, you're very resilient. Your mission is also resilience. Like how you serve others is through your resilience. People are really inspired by that. And you don't see it as a big deal. It's just who you are. I'm taking another one, actually. Dragonfly. So dragonfly might be something we see a lot. So dragonfly is when we adapt to the circumstances around us. It's like I said, you're really good at, radical acceptance, just adapting to what's going on. You're the person that if there was to be an apocalypse, like if things were to go sideways, you'd be the one everybody be rallying around. Like, what do we do here? What do we do? They would see you standing in calm and not freaking out, and be the one that they would all go to as the guide, because you would have naturally know what to do. Because you don't have that fear. You accept the situation. It makes you more clear-headed. Okay. And you're probably coming out of a fog at the moment too. So I can see as well that one of your, something that's emerging is a real clear-headedness and sharp mind. Okay. Up. So you're meant to, like I said, you're meant to rise up. You're meant to be seen. Now, some of you might, okay, oh, I just realized, okay, I wish I could, let's see how many of you are still watching. But with death as well, your superpower is that you can talk to the dead, okay? Some of you might be able to talk to the dead. Medium. You might be psychic mediums. And that might be something you attract, probably people in your dreams or just around you. I used to have a friend that was always attracting, like she'd have dead people come around her, especially as a child. She had to learn to shut it off. And she was really resilient. Okay. Simplicity. And that's what comes back here to Seven of Cups. You don't like when there's too many things, it's too many things. You like simplicity. It makes you happy. And part of your mission is to keep things simple. That's what I said. Some of you are minimalists. You like things very simple and minimal. And so that's kind of part of your superpower. And it's how you're going to use this to serve others, is to show them either by lived example or by actually teaching them, because you have wise leadership here. Now, when we talk about being a leader and guiding people and doing all this, it doesn't mean you're going to start some kind of a thing, an organization or whatever, and you're going to be the leader. It just simply mean in your own family and in your own community, people tend to look to you as the leader. You're the one they kind of gravitate towards because you feel like you know something they don't know. And it's like you're tapped into something that they're not tapped into, that you can understand things that they don't understand. And that when shit's going down, you're the one that's standing calm and they feel safe with you. You feel safe for people. Okay. And you might get people who actually come to you. I just got a vision of being like in the freezer aisle of a grocery store and having wanting to talk to somebody because you know something about them, or they want to talk to you because they know that you know something for them, like that. Okay, you probably have a lot of things like that in your life. So these are your superpowers. Let me know what you thought of this reading. I'd love to know. This was a viewer suggestion, and it's a lot of fun. Cried a lot of cards, but I think it's pretty cool. I liked doing this reading. So, you know, you can go leave your own suggestions as well for readings if you'd like. Let me know what you thought. Do subscribe. I'd love to have you back. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now. Hello, group 2, and welcome to your reading. So in this reading, we're going to look at what is your superpowers. This was a viewer suggested reading. So if you head on over into the community page, you can leave a message for me if you want me to do a specific reading that you'd be interested in seeing, and I might just do it for you. So this one is your superpower. What is your superpower? This is going to be a longer reading, okay? So I guess I got a lot to go through, okay? And the first thing we're going to start off with is the source of your power, like what you were born with, okay? This is how you were forged at birth. You know, the superpowers that you were forged at birth with. We all have something. Let's see, what are yours? Group 2. Group 2. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Why is that? Did I put the deck upside down? I didn't. Okay, so it's Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Swords. Take more. Seven of Swords in reverse. You're very inquisitive. You like to get to the bottom of things. And you can also live off of very little. I've noticed, or I can see here, is like you would be fine with just the shirt on your back. You'd find a way. Very resilient, very resourceful. Highly inquisitive. You probably have read a lot. You're probably somebody who has a large library of books in your house, or audiobooks. You're also an open book. You don't hide things. Because you know a lot too. There's nothing. So we have Seven of Swords here in reverse. I really get somebody who's not very sneaky, who's open to things, like open book. And you're very giving. I grab a few oracle cards to get more information here. Great Goddess, Sacred Unity. Wow, that's a pretty powerful card there. I'm getting like the vibe of somebody who would live like a monk or a nun, except not. You know, I just get the sense of somebody who reads a lot, who knows a lot of knowledge, has a lot of like facts, knowledge, things. You dive deep into stuff. You're highly connected to source. You have nothing to hide. You give freely. Yeah, it's like, okay, so with Great Goddess, it's with that rainbow and everything. I get the sense of somebody who needs very little to survive on. Somebody who is very community oriented, highly empathic. You like to know the world. You like to know the world you live in, and you like to know who you share it with. And you try to understand other people. I get a vision of somebody sitting amongst others in a very foreign place, being humble, almost in like dirty clothes, but eating the food. that they give you and being grateful. There's a sense of gratitude with you. You have nothing to hide. You want to be open with people. You're very much about the truth. You're somebody who highly values the truth, and your superpower is bringing that truth out in others. Okay. Your superpower is also allowing other people to be who they are in your vicinity, like with you. You probably get people who unload a lot of stuff onto you, unfortunately, but they feel they can because one, you know a lot of stuff, you're like an encyclopedia, but also it's because you aren't judging anybody, because you're so humble, because you're just very open and honest and real, that they kind of let their guard down. Like they don't need to feel like they have to hide anything from you. So if you do any kind of work that requires people to be honest, you'd probably do really well at it, because some people will naturally just be honest with you. Okay. Simplicity. Yeah. See, that's what I thought about. Like, I almost felt like the monk kind of, the nun thing. You just don't need anything. Give me a shirt and some shoes and I'm fine. Like I'll eat worms. I really sense somebody here who just doesn't need anything. I mean, everybody needs something, right? Don't get me wrong. Like what I get the sense here with the Ace of Pentacles, he's got dirty hands from digging, but he's releasing it. You're giving. You don't hold resources for yourself. You give them to others. And missionaries might be in here. People who you might work for, like organizations around the world. I see you being a person who's very much activist, or actually not about activism as much as giving of yourself and your time and your energy to others. And the fact that you don't need anything. So that's what you were born with. And that enables you to be very adaptable to any situation, because you don't need a lot of stuff. You're not materialistic at all, but you're very well read. And you're highly connected to source energy. So I do get someone here who, so I got monk and nun. I do sense that you're very deeply spiritual. And if you're not deeply spiritual in that kind of a way, your reverence goes to nature. It goes to knowledge, to knowing things. Focus. Yeah, you're a highly focused person. And this is like some kind of a leopard in the snow. So it's hard to see, but you're so focused on what it is that you're doing that it's okay. Like you can do it in tough terrain, and even when it's not clear around you, you still see clearly. You see things clearly. You very much see things clearly. Okay. And you see through people too. You can see their true intentions. That's one of your superpowers. You've probably always been able to see people's true intentions. And that can be difficult to deal with when you know somebody's lying. You're like a lie detector. You know when someone's lying. And that can be hard, because sometimes someone says something, you really want that to be true, or you want to believe them, but you know that it's not. It can be disappointing. Okay. Sloth. I love that for you, because that's just, you're friendly and sweet, and there's a panda as well. Pandas sit there. You're not in a rush for anything. You keep things simple. You take things slow. You just focus on what you're doing. You're a very focused person, and you don't need a lot of stuff, right? So next I'm going to look at What's a hidden superpower that you don't realize that you have, that other people see in you that you don't really see in yourself? Okay. So let's see what's their hidden superpower. The moon. Okay. Eight of Swords. I will put 3 in, and I was going to just do 2, but let's do 3. Okay. Those are 2 major arcana cards there for your hidden powers, something you don't even realize. Is how deep you can really go. It's your ability to overcome like deep fears and illusions. And the fact that you don't even really have any illusions. And I don't think you have a lot that you fear either. I think that's why you're so inquisitive and why you read, is so that you understand things and then you don't fear them when you understand them. And so one of your hidden gifts here is your ability to never feel in that, like, trapped in your mind with those kinds of deep illusions and fears. Okay. But also if you do find like this is your psyche, the moon, and it can represent psychosis too. So one of your superpowers is you don't fall into that ever. And you won't. And if you were to kind of find yourself in a situation where you might be faced with a really deep fear, you overcome it because you're able to see it from a different perspective. You're very in tune with a higher source. It enables you to be able to understand things better than other people because you can tap in to something very deep. Okay. The sun. You radiate too, like the sun. We have the sun and the moon here. You have very balanced shadow and light in you. And that might not be something you realize. So this is a hidden superpower, is your ability to balance the dark and the light, the yin, the yang. And that, your ability to see things from a completely different perspective, especially when you feel like you're in a trap situation. That's the best time for you to really, really see things in a different way. Okay, let's keep going. Let's just find some more cards for you. It's also your ability to illuminate the dark places. You're very good at that. Dragging things out of the dark and putting them into the light is something that you're very good at. Okay. What's your hidden? Enlightenment. Uh-huh. Yeah. You're meant to reach enlightenment. And it's one of your superpowers, is your ability to actually reach enlightenment. That's what I said, like the moon and the sun, and your ability to balance both, to drag the darkness into the light, and to see in the dark, and get yourself out of sticky situations too. But more like mental situations, like things where you feel kind of trapped. Those are kind of where you thrive. You really make yourself enlightenment. That's how you find enlightenment. Your hidden superpower is to reach enlightenment, which you can do, which is something I think you are striving for, is through those times where you feel kind of trapped. When you can't find the answers, when you don't know which direction you're supposed to go in, when you can't move ahead, when things feel really stuck in your life, that's when you really reach that hidden depths inside you, and you can really pull them out and heal your psyche, because you're meant to reach enlightenment. I really strongly sense, right from the beginning, I said you have the nun monk vibes here. I sense of someone who's on the path to enlightenment. Okay. Firefly. So fireflies light up in the dark. they're way shorter. Like they, you know, I'm going to grab the book for a sec here. I'm going to see. Yeah, it's like, okay. Fireflies glow at night. They look ordinary in the day and they glow at night. It's about hope, and you never lose hope. Hope is your guide. Hope is your compass. Okay. It's how you navigate life. And you know, a firefly is being able to see at night through that lens of hope. You're able to bring the sun into the night as well. Like your leader. And I don't mean lead as in you're meant to stand in front of people and tell them what to do. I mean lead as in by example with where you're concerned. Simply because you are just who you are. You are so genuine to who you are. You're so beautiful and radiant and simplistic in your nature. You don't need things. You're not fussy. If people see you as being really wise and towards enlightenment, right? Okay. So you're meant to write. There's your hidden talent or your hidden superpower is writing. Okay. So you read a lot. Now it's time to write. So that's something. Okay. We're going to see how your gifts or your superpowers, what are they in action? Like, how do you express them out in the world? How do people experience them? Okay. We're just going to use tarot for the next few things. Okay. So let's take a look at how this is expressed. How are your superpowers expressed? Group 2. Okay, so you might see white feathers falling from the sky. When you do, that's a sign for you, okay? That's something, it's going to be linked to this reading. Something in here, something about your superpowers. The first group, it was a bumblebee. This group, it's a white, like any kind of white feather or fluff falling from the sky. The Emperor and the Devil. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, this one, Page of Wands. Okay. Well, we got a little bit of an extra here. So this is how it's expressed. Like I said, you're a leader, okay? You naturally lead, whether you do it by consciously or whether you do it just by who you are. You know a lot of things, so it allows you to be a very strategic person. Like, even though you're a simplistic person and even though you're on the path to enlightenment, you're not afraid to do the things that other people are maybe looked down on. You don't follow the status quo here. You know, you live an alternative kind of a life. You might do, like, for example, some of you might be sex workers. Okay. And some people might get offended by that. And trust me, I see my comments all the time that people get triggered and offended by something I've said. And here's the thing. That's just a job, okay? And some people, it's a good job, and it's what they do. And it doesn't matter what your opinion is on that. And you're the person here, when you're watching this reading, if this resonates with you, you would not get offended by that. You wouldn't care. And some of you do that. It's how you express it. It's because you understand things in a very deep and profound way that other people don't. You see things so much differently than other people, or it's very difficult for you to see anything as being innately bad or good. You dig into the deeper, an inquisitive mind. You see things in a little different way. And so, you know, that's with the Devil. Okay, you're not afraid to do certain things. Some people, you're also, so when it came up with the moon, and this is Psyche, and I mentioned about psychosis here. So the Devil is also about, we have addictions and things like that. You're very good at helping other people overcome their addictions. Okay. And you're very good at controlling that yourself. If you've had any struggle with that in your life, it's expressed by other people seeing how easy it is for you to manage whatever if that's something that resonates with you. If you're somebody who has struggled with mental health issues or with any kind of addiction, you're somebody who does it well. Okay. So you are somebody who manages it very well. You're very much in control of yourself. And so even if that doesn't resonate, you're not somebody who lives in a alternative lifestyle, you're not somebody who has any addictions or mental illness. It's simply that you're very much in control over your own mind. Okay. So that has a lot to do with like when you see monks, right? And you can see how some monks will be able to lower their heart rate just with their own mind. So that's something that you probably can do. You're very controlled over your ego. You don't have an ego, really. And those two cards would actually see, oh, well, this person has ego. No, it's showing me that you don't. It's showing me you have control, very much control over that part of yourself. Now we're going to look at your kryptonite. I'm also just going to use tarot for this. So if you don't know the Superman reference with kryptonite, it's basically what drains you. It's the thing that steals your superpowers away. It's, you know, the kryptonite is an element or something that took away Superman's powers. So what is what can take your powers? What drains you? Let's see. Group 2. Yeah, and also with Page of Wands, you have a very much an enthusiasm for life itself. You're a very enthusiastic person. Everything you do is with enthusiasm and joy. You express that freely. You're not afraid to express yourself. You're not afraid to be who you are. Okay, that's where it's coming back to the devil. And when I mentioned the sex worker reference that I know is going to trigger some people who watch this, I just know it. But that was the point, is to like also just to separate the you from it, like if this is your reading or not, because you wouldn't trigger you if this is your reading. You're very open-minded. You know a lot of stuff, things like that. You might not do that. It might not be something you want to do for yourself, but you wouldn't judge others if they did. My point, though, is that you live a life of your choosing. Okay, so let's see your kryptonite. Hermit. You don't like being alone. Alone with your thoughts. I think you like community. You enjoy being around other people. You enjoy helping people. That's a big thing for you. So having to kind of be isolated and alone, if you had to be alone during the pandemic, that was probably very hard for you. And that might have been a time where you might have battled some of your own issues around, you know, any kind of addictions or bad habits or things like that. So yeah, the Hermit is in this regard. What drains you is if you have to spend too much time on your own, isolated. You're not good with isolation. 7 of Wands. You also don't like it when if there's too many people wanting something from you, because you like to be very giving and you like to be open to people. You're somebody who likes when people can feel like they can come to you for things. You don't like being isolated, and you don't like it though when other people try and attack you. Attacking you. You're not going to confrontational person at all. Here, this is somebody who lives Zen, and you don't like confrontation. But as long as you stay in your Zen-like place, then you can keep those superpowers. Like, it might drain you, but if you are able to sit inside yourself, so with Hermit and 7 of Wands, if you're able to sit inside yourself comfortably, then it won't drain you. It won't be draining. It'll actually, you can learn how to protect yourself. Okay, finally we have 6 of Wands. Yeah, you don't, as much as you enjoy like being around other people, you don't like being the center of attention though. That's not your thing. You're a simple person. You enjoy doing things for other people, and you don't need to be celebrated for it. You're not somebody who would enjoy a surprise party. You don't like being the center of attention. It kind of makes you uncomfortable. It makes you feel exposed. A public speaking too might be something that kind of drains you. You don't like it. Yeah, I could see that. You don't like having a lot of attention, essentially. It's not something you like. It's something that drains you. Too much attention, too many people wanting things from you. You prefer to kind of be a giving person. You like to be behind the scenes, but not alone. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is what amplifies it. What makes or activates or magnifies your superpowers. So you're just going to use tarot for this one as well. We have 5 of Swords in reverse, okay? 10 of Swords, wow. And 10 of Cups. Interesting. Wow, we have the 2 10s back to back. 10 of Swords is a brutal card though, but in this one, she's barefoot in a sundress, walking towards the light, right? Bringing the darkness to the light. So this is something that helps to magnify or amplify you. You love being around. You're somebody who would be very happy to live in a commune. That's what I sense here. You would be happy to live in a commune with other people who love you and you love them. And it's very loving community. You're guided by love. And you can overcome hardships too. You're somebody who you don't let the hardships get you down. Because you're so simple and because you understand, I mean, simple as in the way you live, not in your intellect, okay? Don't take that the wrong way. What I mean is because you enjoy simple living, and because you have a lot of knowledge and you're very well read, and because you enjoy the company of others in a communal kind of a way, you keep hope alive, you keep hope alive. So even when things are really dark, you are very much in yourself. You bring the light to the darkness. You're never really in the dark. You're always kind of in a good state. You're always in a nice balanced state. And that's what amplifies it too. When you have that ability to bring the dark to light, when you have the ability to utilize those superpowers, that's when you really feel at your height, right? Especially when you can help others overcome their own demons, their inner demons as well. That's something that really helps you as well. And with 5 of Swords in reverse, it gets back into you do not like conflict. And so what amplifies you is when you people work together in community. When things are harmonious, that really helps to amplify your superpowers. Okay, so I'm just gonna put everything over here because we're gonna move on now. So next I'm gonna do the emerging. What's forming? So I'm going to use the oracles for this. And finally, we're going to look at the mission. Like what is all this, how you're meant to serve. Now, I'm pretty sure it's like community living and you're meant to be of service to others, but we'll get there. Right now, let's go like emerging and forming superpower. So it's not formed yet, it's forming, okay? Six of Swords and 6 of Cups, 2 6. So 6s are home, family, that kind of thing. I'm a 6 life path. You might be a 6 life path as well. 6s really like to be around other people. They really like to be home and family and loved ones. And so this is your ability, the 6 of Swords, to leave behind the dark, troubled waters behind and hope. Like you're really working on your sense of hope right now. Maybe it's being challenged at the moment, but you've come a long way. So this is something, you have 6 of Cups here. We have the boy and his dog, and now they've grown up together. So I see that you have come a long way. Like this is a superpower that's been forged since you were a child. Something when you were young. And I sense here too that you're meant to travel here. So something emerging is going to happen. The superpower you'll discover while you're traveling. You're meant to move around, okay? And your emerging superpower is your ability to adapt to different societies, not just your comfort zone, but in other societies and other places. And yeah, and this is something you've always wanted to do. So now you're bringing this forward. And it's also your ability to do that, to bring, to make things happen even through the hardships. Independence. Okay. So that is Lilith. This is kind of what I felt with, because we have 6 of Cups, and 6s are about family and love and community. But with independence, you're also kind of, what's emerging, and this comes back to the Hermit here, which is part of what drains you, is your ability to be independent and not need to have other people all the time, like, so that you can be okay on your own. Because that's what I had with 6 of Swords here, is being able to move out of situations on your own without the help of others. So some of you might have been reliant on others for a while now, especially if you live a really simple life and you're very giving. Maybe you don't have a lot of money, so maybe you're somebody who, you don't care that you don't have a lot of money. It doesn't bother you, but it means that it gets hard in a world that's, it demands a lot of us financially to even just live somewhere, to have a roof over our head. It's pretty bad. So now you might be in this situation where you're finding that you have to find independence, like ways to earn, or ways to live on your own. Okay. But that's an emerging superpower. That is something that's coming up, is your ability to be completely independent on your own. You might find yourself in some money. I think you have the ability to create wealth, but you just don't use it. So this might be something that is now forming. Okay. Courage. That's with independence and you facing the draining thing here. Because you're somebody who's trying to reach enlightenment, it means that you're going to have to face your fears in life. The things that really are your deep fears. These things that drain you. Because enlightenment means that you find peace within, regardless of the circumstances around you. And that's where you're always going, is to that place. So you will always be challenged there. And now what's forming is your ability to stand on your own 2 feet and not have other people support you. Gifted. There's a new talent coming in, okay? There's a new gift opening up, and it has to do with this, when you get independent and you find that courage inside yourself. Go your own way. Go your own way. I have that song in my head. You're going to go your own way. I think that's Fleetwood Mac. That song totally is you right now. You might want to look it up and listen to it, because the vibe. That's the vibe. Go in your own way right now. And this is the courage to do it. And you're going to find a new talent or gift, a superpower there. It's forming, okay? Because it's like not telling me what it is. It's telling me this is how it's going to form, okay? It's going to form when you face some kind of fear around independence, okay? Praying mantis, okay. Let's take a look. All right, so this goes back to your hidden gifts. So your hidden gift right now is the one that is forming and coming forth, okay? And a lot of that has to do with the Hanged Man, your ability to see things in a different way when you're forced to be still, okay? So you might be forced to be in a situation that requires you to be very courageous and find you that independence and self-reliance here. And this is where that gift is going to come out, okay? It has a lot to do with the moon, the enlightenment. You're on a path to enlightenment, okay? And I can't stress that enough. And it's about everything. All of your superpowers come around that, okay? So let's take a look at your mission and how you're here to serve others with your talent or your superpowers. I also get you don't like strategy. You don't like to be a strategic thinker, except that you are. You are naturally kind of a strategic thinker. But you're not somebody who needs to sit there and strategize. This kind of just comes naturally to you because you're so well read. Oops. King of Swords, wisdom. And see the owl. King of Swords is a more enlightened king, because it comes back to your knowledge of things. You like to learn. You like to understand. And that brings knowledge. You can turn knowledge to wisdom. So you're meant to do that. Like, that's your mission here. How you serve others is turning knowledge to wisdom in a way that is for people to be able to do for themselves. So you know a lot, and you're quite wise because you've been through a lot too. You purposely seek out, though, different experiences so that you can reach a state of enlightenment. It's like the whole thing about telling a child not to touch the hot pot because it's, boiling water is hot. It's like, what is hot? They can't conceptualize hot until they touch the fire. I'm like, oh, hot, ow. Now they know hot. So it's like you, with enlightenment, you need to experience a lot of different things in life in order for you to understand it, so you can conceptualize it and reach that state of enlightenment. And there goes the dryer thing to agree with me. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Queen of Wands. So you don't like being the center of attention, but you're kind of meant to be somebody other people are drawn to. Like, you are kind of, I know you don't like it, but you are kind of meant to have, like, you attract people. You attract others around you because they love your vibe. You have a wonderful vibe. And we go back to devil here. I really got a sexual vibe around you. You might heal people through that in some way, shape, or form. Might. Okay, not all of you. Some of you might really resonate with that. But with others, it's more about Wands is tapping into your passions and not being afraid to follow your passions, not being afraid to be who you are. And that is a part of your mission here, is to be very wise and to not be afraid of who you are. And then we have, like, Three of Pentacles. So yeah, you are meant to kind of work with others in a community kind of thing. So if you're wanting to start a commune of some kind, yeah, that's pretty much your mission here. You're meant to be working with other people. You're meant to serve others by working with them and in collaboration with your knowledge, sharing your knowledge with others to create things. You're also meant to express your creativity. Queen of Wands is very expressive. So that superpower of yours, how the mission and how you're meant to serve others is through your creativity and in combining your wisdom with your fiery passion to create something really great. Okay, let's see. Yuki Onna, Stillness. That's like Yuko Ono. She was an artist, okay? This stillness card comes back to that meditative state of yours where your superpower is meant to be expressed through this ability to be still in a storm, to be calm, to be measured, to be, meditation. You're somebody, like, I got the monk vibe. You're somebody who's kind of that is what you're meant to do, okay? You're meant to sit in stillness. You're meant to meditate for long periods of time. Like, it's just you. You're probably very drawn to, like, meditation retreats and stuff like that, or those retreats that you go on where you don't talk or anything, and you have no cell phones or anything like that. You would be so happy there. You're meant to do that. I'm just going to grab some more oracle cards before we end the reading here to find out more about how you're meant to serve. Leadership. So that's, yeah. It's interesting because I get the sense here that you don't like being the center of attention, but you kind of naturally lead, okay? You naturally lead because you are somebody people really look up to. Because you're wise and truthful and honest, and you're on a path to enlightenment, and you radiate joy, and people just are, and also you are not judgmental, like you have a lot of control over your mind, so people just are drawn to you for that. Sloth. There it is. I was thinking stillness. Sloth. You're fine taking things slow. You like to be still. Violet flame. So this came up in the first reading. There's some vibes in the first reading in this one if you were drawn. If not, don't worry about it. Often my readings, one or two are the first reading and the second reading are often linked in some ways. But yeah, violet flame, and it comes back what I said here with the Six of Swords, and we have the Ten of Swords. Overcoming darkness, overcoming difficult things in your life, and that comes back to you being into enlightenment, that monk vibe where, understanding by living through certain things so you can understand it. Okay, this one's come out to power and integrity. So yeah, you're somebody who's your power comes from being somebody who lives in their truth, who lives authentically, who's honest, who's real, and doesn't judge others, and doesn't live in a way that is fearful of how others might judge. You float through life on a little cloud because even though when you're going through something really hard, because you are able to bring joy even to the darkest of times, okay? Duck. Ducks are community living too, okay? Ducks live in a little community, and that's you. You're meant to be communal. You're meant to live in a community. You're meant to lead. You might be one of the leaders if you go into a commune, the people who organize, because you have a lot of knowledge about things. You kind of know how to do stuff. So your knowledge is needed. You're also very calming and reassuring. You're the stillness in the storm. You're just a beautiful light to other people, and you're meant to radiate. You're meant to live with others in a very harmonious way. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Group 2, I hope this was an enlightening reading for you. Let you know some of your superpowers. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. Do subscribe to my channel because I'd love to have you back. And, if you have your own suggestions you'd like to, suggest your own reading, you can head over to the community section of my channel, and then you can make a suggestion and I might do it for you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now. Hello, group 3, and welcome to your reading. So in today's reading, we're going to look at your superpowers. This was a suggested reading by a viewer over from the community page. So if you would like to suggest a reading, you can head on over there and suggest a reading, and I might just do it for you. All right, so this is going to be a long one, so you might want to bookmark this and come back if you don't have the time to watch it all, because a lot to get through. And we're going to look at your superpowers. So first thing we're going to look at is what you were born with. What are the source of your superpowers? What was forged in you at birth? Group 3, what are your superpowers? Ace of Swords. Ace of Cups. 2 aces. Very interesting. I'm going to take one more. 5 of Cups. Okay. You really like a fresh start. You're somebody with a heart that's full and a mind that you have a lot of good ideas. You have a lot of good ideas, and you're somebody who's really good at just recuperating your losses kind of thing. So if 5 of Cups there, you have a vision for how things could be, not just how things are. So that's the thing with the Ace of Swords, with the Ace of Cups, and with the Five of Cups, because in this Five of Cups, you can see that there is you can see what it did look like. There was a statue there and it got wrecked. So you have the ability to kind of see what things could be. You can very much see the potential in things. It's one of your superpowers. You're probably really good at spotting trends before they even happen. That is something totally. But because it's more to do with mental ideas and cups, which is love. And also Five of Cups, it has to do with the heart, matters of the heart. You're good at, you're also good at seeing the potentials in others. And the potential in others with you, too. So you're probably pretty good at choosing partners for yourself. You're also a very deep emotional person, and you draw from that. And it comes off, though, as more light. I sense somebody here is very, even when you're down, you're not. Independence, Lilith. So you're really good at standing on your own 2 feet. That's why we have the, the Five of Cups here. You always see the potential of how to build things back. It's like you never, if something in your life gets taken away, you're like, okay, well, let's see, how can I build it back? How can I make it again? Things don't get you down. Like you're good at recovering your losses, and you're good at, you're a very independent person. You probably make good money, is my guess. And you're probably somebody who's had to kind of been living on their own since they were young. Some of you might have had to take care of a lot of siblings too. And I think you're somebody who prefers to be alone. You're a loner wolf. You're more of a lone wolf. Not necessarily like nobody, but I just mean like you're not somebody who probably ever marry or have kids. Doesn't mean you won't have a relationship with somebody, but you feel more happy on your own. Leadership. You're a natural born leader. Because you're so independent, you're fiercely independent. People are drawn to that. They take your advice. You probably, like I said, you probably make money, and you probably are in a position to lead teams of people or projects or whatever it is that you do. And it's one of your superpowers. You're pretty good at it. Violet Flame, this has come up in all 3 groups, okay? So all of the collectives watching this are very good at overcoming dark times. You're independent. You can bounce back. Even when you're down and out, even when you're going through a dark night, you're fine on your own. You bounce out. It's one of your superpowers. You're a phoenix rising, always. It's like the Five of Cups. You always see the potential of what could be. So you never get caught up in what is gone. You think, okay, well, it's gone. How do we rebuild? What can we build now? Okay, these 2. Alligator and Raven. Ooh. You're really good at your survival skills are on point. It's something you were born with. It's like I got the vibe of somebody who has lived on their own since they were children or young, or had to raise their siblings and stuff. You've built really good resilience and survival skills. You know how to get through the dark times. You bounce back. You have a real appetite for life. You have a zest for life, and you really enjoy the potential. Like I feel I sense there's like a feeling inside you of always seeing the potential in everything. Never looking at what's lost, but looking at what could be. And you're very good at going into the shadows, shadow work. So it's your big time, one of your superpowers is doing shadow work. And you might actually trigger shadow work in other people too. But I think though for yourself, your superpower is shadow work. That's where you really shine. So let's take a look at your hidden superpower. This is what you don't see, but probably other people see in you. Okay, so what is your hidden superpower? Page of Wands. 10 of Pentacles. 3 of Cups. So again, with the potential here. So you see this card with the 3 of Cups. Her place is a dirty mess, but she's seeing all that party that she had. You never see, like, you don't see the downsides of things. You don't see you're not a negative person. You're really good at overcoming the odds, beating the odds. Fiercely independent. Your hidden potential, though, is to really tap into your ancestral ancestors. They walk with you, okay? A lot of them walk with you, so they're waiting for you to really tap in there and work with them. You have a lot, okay? And you have a lot. Look at this on her. She's walking, and look at all the people. A lot of them are family ancestors, but it could be others as well. Because they're meant to help you reach your goals. You enjoy the company of others too. You enjoy a good celebration. But because you're such a great leader and stuff, your hidden talent is your hidden superpower is the ability for others to just want to celebrate you and what you do and your achievements. Because you're always working on something, you're always doing something, and you have a lot of protection, and you have a lot of ancestors that want to work with you, okay? Great Goddess. This came up with another reading as well. So you don't realize how very much you are connected to source energy, how you're connected to others. You might be able to be a psychic medium. You might be able to tap into your ancestors through that, okay? You're very much somebody who can just you're very tapped into a higher being, okay? And it's something that you really, maybe you don't work with enough. Because it's coming up as a hidden superpower here, is that you're very protected. You have a very strong and large super team, like spirit team and ancestral team that want to work with you. And you can easily work with them. You just need to tap in and work with them consciously here. Pleasure. Okay. So I can kind of see like a woman's body here. And then we have pleasure. I don't think that you have your superpowers too might also be within your own body and through expression of what feels good in your body, okay? So that's a superpower. Doesn't matter how you feel about your body and what it looks like. It matters about that. It's about how you derive pleasure from your own body. Fish. Fish are also communal. We have 3 of Cups. I think you have a talent in bringing people together. And in a deep way, because fish can swim down deep, right? So they can go up to the top and be more like around, the surface, or they can go really deep. And I feel like you have a ability to help people go deeper. Okay, some of you really are tapped into ancestral witch vibes here, or just ancestral spiritual gifts. Okay, knowledge. Yeah, so there's knowledge that you're not tapped into yet that has to do from your ancestors. So this is something you should look into, okay? Because it's very strongly coming through here that you have and it's through your body, okay? It's through your senses. So like a clairsentience kind of feeling, through touch, through feeling, through physical expression of your body, okay? Okay, so let's move on. We're going to now look at in action, like how does your spiritual gifts, how are your superpowers expressed and experienced by others, okay? So we're just going to use some tarot for the next few. Right now we're looking at how you express your superpowers, okay? Queen of Wands. And we go back to leadership. We have a director. You have a vision, a great vision for things. Like I come back here to the Ace of Swords, like you can see the potential of stuff. You actually are really good at, it's like I sense somebody who has a really, lucrative career. I do sense that you are a good leader in your career. If you're not, you will be. And it's how it will be expressed is through your creative projects and through your physical self. So somehow you express yourself physically here. Yeah, we have 8 of Wands. It's that actual like bringing forth. See how she's an athlete? It's your physical body. So it might have to do here when you talk about maybe pleasure. It's like finding pleasure in your own body, but that might be through like working your body, building muscle and strength or flexibility or something. Some of you, and also 8 of Wands is forward motion. So you take action on things. You don't hold yourself back from anything. 9 of Swords. You don't hold yourself back. You don't worry about stuff. You just attack. You attack. You just get it done. That's how how it works, like how your superpower works, is you're just really good at taking action and getting things done. And you don't stress over the small details. You don't sweat it. Like, okay. And I think you seem cool under pressure too. You're somebody who's really cool under pressure. All right, so now we're going to look at your kryptonite. So these are the things that drain your superpowers. If you think about, if you don't know the reference to Superman, so Superman had all these powers, but there was something called kryptonite, and it's what drained him of his powers. He couldn't use his powers if he was around kryptonite. So this is the thing that drains your superpowers, okay? The Devil, a lot of pile 2 is in this one, but you're very different, okay? You're very different. Okay. Page of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. You have a real problem with deceit. You hate it when people are deceitful for you. It drains your powers. You don't like... And jealousy. You feeling jealousy of others too drains you. Also feeling like you have to ask for help. You hate that. I think that drains you as well. You're very fiercely independent. So taking help from others, accepting help from others feels draining to you. It's like your kryptonite, you hate it. The other thing with the devil here is the idea of like, so the family unit bothers you. It's like as you're back to independence. If you were to have to like have a child and married and stuff, it would be your kryptonite. I think if it would feel wrong, it would feel like you were living the wrong life for you. Okay, so some of you that's not true, but this is a general reading. Okay, so not all of this isn't a personal reading. So take what resonates. Okay, if you're watching this and you're married and you're happily married with kids, then that's not what this is for you. Okay. The other thing with the devil is if you give in too much to addictions or toxic behavior patterns, it comes back here with the Page of Swords. You can see she's looking at these two people, jealousy. So these are the things that are draining for you. If you're getting distracted by the thoughts of toxic pattern behaviors that you might have around that, you like to be on your own and you don't like it to accept help from others. And you can be suspicious of others sometimes, I think, around that. And so these cards are just simply saying that is something that can drain you. And might also be something from childhood that when you think about it or when it's triggered, it can be draining for you. Okay. But mostly though, I feel like the devil has to do with our psyche. It has to do with the trappings of the ego. So if you get too caught up in your ego, that can be draining for you. Anything about the ego, thinking that you're better than others or worrying that other people are trying to deceive you in some way or that others are trying to get one up on you or something, or, that kind of thing is a kryptonite for you. It kills your superpowers because one of your superpowers is independence. Okay. Now, this is what fuels it. This is what, I'm going to take all those, amplifies and magnifies your superpowers. We have King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is somebody who is very established, okay? And he's very generous because he's made a lot of money and he's good at business. You're a good leader. You're good at business. This is what amplifies you. Being in a position like of authority within an institution or a corporation or something like that, 100% is your superpower or what amplifies it and what makes it stronger. 10 of Swords. So we're coming back to jealousy. It's interesting. The 10 of Swords, stabbing in the back. So what amplifies is when you can see when other people might be trying to stab you in the back, trying to bring you down. And it's actually your haters of what kind of drive you here. Haters, you're driven by your haters. I think that's great. 3 of Wands, expansive. You're always looking at the potential. You're looking at the future. Your future forecaster. You have a vision for the future. You can see things, like you see the potential of things. So that's something that amplifies you. The world, you traveling, okay, getting around the world and seeing new things and completing things. Like when things are completed and they're done and they're good work, and you feel like you've done good work, that really 5 of Pentacles, feeling like overcoming the odds kind of thing, like you that independent thing, like no one can really get you down. It's like you love a good challenge, I think, too. So you're really good at making money. And so the 5 of Pentacles coming in here is what amplifies it, is that if you do feel like, you have some kind of a money loss or something, you're on it. You're on it. You're getting it done. That's like one of your superpowers. Okay, so I'm going to put these off to the side. We got a couple more to get into here. Next, we are looking at what is emerging, what is forming, what is the emerging and forming superpower for you. And finally, we're going to get to the mission. Like, what is all this for? Like, what are you here to do, right? What are your superpowers here to serve others? But first, let's look at what's emerging and forming. Okay, we have Temperance. The ability to stay calm and measured. Okay, so that's forming in you. Regardless of what's going on around you, just the ability to stay like measured and not feeling like you have to rush and attack. Sometimes you need to just absorb. and judgment. Yeah. Knowing when to strike, when the iron's hot kind of thing, but also rising to a challenge. I think you're really good at rising to a challenge, but this hidden superpower, you're kind of being challenged with that right now. So you might be being asked to rise to a challenge by showing restraint. So that's something that is coming, that's forming right now. Let's see. Co-creation, yeah, okay. So I know you're independent, but what's forming is you creating with someone else. Also co-creation though with your hidden gift, which is with your ancestors and those who have walked before you, okay? So I feel like you're a bit of a curse breaker here too. You're breaking the chains of the past and of your family, and you're being supported in that, okay? And challenged too. So right now, the superpower that you're having, you're really close to completing a cycle. And it's around you having patience right now. And that patience is forming. That's your superpower. And how to do that with, with ancestors and with your spirit team. Focus. You're also, focused, even though you can't see clearly. So that's part of the temperance vibe as well, is being measured. Knowing when to strike, knowing when it's time, having that good judgment. So that's something that's forming as well. Okay. All right, I'm going to take all three of those. Have feline, again, knowing when to strike. So, look, they're two cats. When they're patient, they wait, and then they pounce when the time is right. Like knowing when to strike when the iron's hot. This is what's forming with you right now. And that is done co-creation with ancestors. Okay. That's a big one. Music. Some of you might actually be musicians. Some of you might be artists of some kind, but I kind of sense more than that, is that music is how you're going to get into your body. It's how you're going to derive pleasure. It's how you're going to kind of ground down your superpowers, is through music. And you're probably somebody who enjoys music. You listen to a lot of different kinds of music. You're always finding new music. Solfeggio frequency music might be really helpful for you right now. Finally, innocence. It's learning how to take that innocent side of yourself that is unchanged and protecting it. And it's also something that is that innocence that is coming through your work, okay? Keeping its integrity, right? Keeping its original form and not letting it be like co-creating, but not allowing anything to disturb the original form here is what I'm getting. Okay. So finally, we're going to look at what is your mission? How are you meant to serve? Like, how are you meant to use these? Like your life purpose kind of thing, your superpowers. How do they play into your life purpose here? Okay. Oops, I grabbed. There we go. Okay, we have Seven of Swords. The truth. Seven of Swords, this person's on the stand with their hand on the Bible and they're lying, right? They're crossing, like, I'm going to tell you one thing, but I mean something else. You're meant to kind of expose people in their lies, I think, because you're really good at seeing the potential in things. You're also good at seeing the potential in others, and you can tell when people are lying. You're going to be a lie detector, okay? Very much. This is something that is part of your superpowers, is knowing when somebody's lying, and also your ability to work with, like, lie when you need to. Okay, not all lies are bad. Sometimes it's important to lie because it protects something. That you're good at keeping a secret. Okay, you're good at keeping secrets. Two of Cups, and with co-creating, you really are meant to it's interesting because you're very independent, and the kryptonite. So when we have kryptonite in all of these readings, they're meant to also be, this is the thing that you need to work on and overcome so it doesn't drain you. It doesn't take you your superpowers. And one of those things is partnerships with other people. You don't like accepting help, but I think part of your mission here is to have partnerships and alliances and relationships with other people that are close, that you trust, right? That you trust. And that is how, you are going to express a lot of your superpowers. I also do see though that with Two of Cups here, it's also having a very loving relationship with yourself and with something greater than yourself. Okay. Great Goddess, sacred unity. It's a hidden gift that you're not tapped into enough here, is that it's very strong. I think a lot of you are so fiercely independent. You kind of always feel like, I just got to do it myself. I just have to do it myself. You don't like to, it's like, you're one of those things like, if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself kind of thing. But this is saying sometimes other people have to help you. You have to be able to accept help from other people. But they're people you trust. They're people you love. People who love you back, right? Unconditional love here. It's safe to unconditionally love others. And I think you're meant to explore that. Part of your superpowers is meant to explore that unconditional love through other people here, and using your divine gifts, connection, forgiveness. Seven of Swords about lying and forgiveness. Okay. Some of you might have had parents that, maybe you had a parent that had an affair. It could, I kind of got that vibe, something from childhood. Or just maybe you were in a marriage and they cheated, or you did, or something. I don't know. I get the sense here that you're meant to overcome that. Like, part of your mission here is to learn to forgive, to learn to let those things go, because you can't control the actions of others, and they're going to do things that hurt you sometimes. And it's not with intention. Like, if somebody, for example, like say your parents, one of them had an affair, they didn't intentionally go out to hurt their spouse. They just had something come to them that they couldn't resist. Okay. So it's sort of finding that forgiveness for the weaknesses in yourself and others. Okay. Simplicity. The second group, I said I saw this feather floating outside, and I said this will be their sign that this reading, like if they see that they come back to this reading, that's your sign too. Because I had this card in my head when I saw it, and right now this is what I'm having in my head. But also ravens. Okay, so like crows or ravens that are very, like, they're acting in a way that's like, oh, okay, that's different, or seeing like a white feather floating like down from the sky is also a sign. That means that there's something about this reading, and something that was said here is you're meant to kind of tap into, or to remind you in a way, confirmation kind of thing. The right order. This is leadership too. It's about you kind of keeping things whole and intact. And part of that is through forgiveness. And part of that is not allowing yourself to be fragmented by the actions of others, whether they cheated on you or lied to you or whatever it is. It's you overcoming that. And being able to keep things in the right order, like inside yourself and in your mind. That not being fragmented, but being whole. Like taking the fragmented pieces and bringing them to whole in your life. Okay. So you might, I get the sense there is some fragmented pieces here. That's why you see the potential of things. And that's part of your superpower. And it's also to make it whole again, you know, bring it all together, bring all these little fragmented pieces together. Fragmented pieces from the past and fragmented pieces from broken things in your life. Okay. So there's two. And we have camel, whale. Whale is wisdom. Whale is the depths, right? It's tapping into that deep knowledge. And camel, you know, it has the humps on their back with all the water, and it's like everything you need is within you. I'm going to grab the book though, because I just want to take a look. Yeah, so finding your own inner oasis regardless of the climate of your current condition. So it's like you have everything you need within you to nourish yourself. That's that independence. So that's part of your superpower, is being independent in that you don't need to rely on other people, but you also don't need other people to be a certain way in order for you to be independent. You know what I mean? It's like you're, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on in your life, you feel whole and complete in yourself. That's the whole right order, bringing the fragments together. That's part of your superpower, and that's part of what you're meant to do here, okay? And that goes back to ancestors and working with them, because that's healing the past wounds too. Like, you're a cycle breaker. You're kind of the chain breaker here. You're meant to dive deep into the emotions of people. You're meant to have deep connections and relationships with people. And yes, you're independent, but you're also meant to have deep, profound relationships with others. And both those things will be true at the same time in your life. That's your superpower, to have both those things be true at once, to feel completely independent, but also to feel complete love for others, and be able to allow others to love you back, you know? All right. Thank you, group 3. If you have any suggestions that you want for a reading, head on over to my community page and make a suggestion. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how this went down in the comments section. I'd love to know. You know, any interaction you can do with this video does help me with the algorithm, and I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope you subscribe so I can see you back. If you haven't subscribed, if you have subscribed, great. Thank you so much. I'm happy you're here. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now.